And you are watching another Blewett Blitz film review. He has that ability to, trust me, he definitely does. Just his ability to catch balls outside of his frame, his leaping ability, his ability to hang in the air, his yak ability, it's all there. Lowers his helmet, low man wins, bang, rocks the guy.
Hall running free, Brees Hall inside the 10, he's gonna score!
The corners all do their job. You know, if you look at the picture right here, lock.
3rd and 1. Stevens always drilled. What a great defensive play.
I don't try to Monday morning quarterback any of the reviews I do, and I'll try to be honest with a lot of the things I put up. And you are watching / listening to another edition of Blewett Blitz. An edition with not much going on. I guess there's been like a little bit of tricklings the last couple of days. So this one's funny. It just came in right now. Let's fucking go, Joe. Give us the facts. That's hilarious. There's really not much to talk about today, so I'm going to depend on you guys pretty heavily. Supposed to do it with Sable last week. Some stuff came up for both him and I. So he's going to reset the next month. I'm going to do this one solo, and then next week I'm going to do call-ins. Week after that, we do it with Nania just to get some housekeeping out of the way. My McDonald's review just dropped. The full thing is like, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. I just had a stickers review drop, a key review drop, a Fashionu review drop. Getting into who else are you getting soon? Ashton Davis, Sherwood, Jeremy Ruckert, Will McDonald. I'm going to do Carter Warren. I'm going to do Tony Adams, and then we get into the free agents. We get into Tyron Smith, Mike Williams, all those guys. So plenty of stuff for me coming up. I got 20 more reviews to come out. I think I've already done like 14, 3 yet to be released. So the next reviews you're going to get are Ruckert, Ashton Davis, and Sherwood, which are good because it feels like people are starting to ask a lot of questions about those guys. It seems like it's the point of the offseason where people are looking for anything to talk about. So it's kind of like, okay, well, how is Sherwood? How has he been? You know, how good was Tony Adams last year? You know, Will McDonald, can he be that third best edge rusher for the Jets? So I feel like the reviews are coming out with some good timing in terms of people asking those questions. There's been plenty of questions the last couple of days about Will McDonald, and that floating around on social media about how good he was last year. And I know Nani's done some stats out there, or Nani or Rivka, one of our writers, have done plenty of like work out there in terms of how productive he was, Will McDonald being, how productive he was in limited snaps, and the film backed it up. Like it just is what it is. He was impressive last year in limited snaps. Now, obviously, you want to see that extrapolated over 50 reps. Or 50% of the reps versus, whatever it was last year, 17, 18% of the reps. But in limited action, he was definitely impressive. So we have some of that to talk about. Some random things, some things I already see in the chat that we'll get into. If this is gonna be 2 hours, it's 2 hours. If it's an hour, it's an hour. If it's a half an hour, it's a half an hour. It just is what it is. I'm busy. I've been busy as hell. If I have to go to the bathroom like 14 times during this, it is my fault. But I've been trying to drink over 100 ounces of water a day now, trying to get back into the lifting game, and I've been doing that. But the amount of water I have to drink is stupid, and my bladder. I apparently have the bladder of a 5-year-old. Because if I drink more than, two bottles of water, I'm screwed. So drinking like probably, 100 ounces of water, then however many of coffee a day. Dakota says, happy birthday to Jets legend, Broadway Joe, and happy birthday to Jets legend, Brees Hall. Yeah, Brees Hall, 23 today. I've been seeing some stuff on social media too, in terms of like the importance of him versus Jermaine versus Sauce versus Garrett. I think we can all agree on the number 1 and 2 there, right? Like in terms of like pecking order of who you want to resign, it's Sauce easily number 1, right? Like Garrett's great. Sauce is the best corner in the NFL. Garrett Wilson is a top 10, top 15 guy in the NFL. He can even creep up to top 5 this year. Do I think he'll be the best guy in the NFL? I don't know. And with that being said, too, it's not even about how good they are. Both are at their position. Look how many great receivers there are in the NFL. There are guys who the league is littered with receivers. The league is not littered with lockdown corners. There's only a few of them out there. I don't even know if there's 5, to be honest, like guys who are truly, truly elite. Surtain, there's some guys out there, but like Ramsey and stuff, like I don't think he applies anymore. So, I would take Sauce. Garrett easily number 1. I'm sorry, I don't know why my voice is going, but Garrett number 2. I would say Brees number 3, and then JJ 4. But I could see an argument for JJ over Brees just because one's a more replaceable position. But with that being said, Brees is a top 2, top 3, top 5 running back. JJ at this point, he's a good D end, but it's not like he's not some superstar like Brees Hall is. So yeah, happy birthday though. I don't know why that got me into there. To Jets legend Broadway Joe. Joe, he, I don't know. Like, if the Jets win the Super Bowl, is he making it to the next birthday? Is that curse real, Dakota? I don't know. If it is, then he had a good run, but he needs to do whatever he needs to do with the devil to get the Jets back into the Super Bowl and to win one. Murdoch says, Joey, breakdowns, check your effing email. Gotta hop on these Jets Jaguars tickets. Anyone else in the chat looking to go to the game? Check my email. I don't know. I won't. When did you email me, Murdoch? But I didn't get anything recently, I don't think. Oh, chat. Can I tell you a story about Murdoch? I'm not going to say his name or anything like that, but Murdoch emails me at 5:58. He emailed me 3 minutes after he sent this and told me to check my email. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to Jacksonville 100% now. I still got to put in my vacation days, but I'm going to go to Jacksonville. And I'm like 95% sure I'm going to drive up to New England as well for that game. I'm going to make a quick thing. I'd go on a Saturday, go out to a bar or whatever, Saturday night, watch the game Sunday, and then drive home early Monday morning. Jacksonville, I'll probably be there on Friday, obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday, leave Monday. So if people are going to be in Jacksonville, let me know. I know Murdoch is looking to set some stuff up. I know we have quite a few listeners in New York or in Florida, actually. Murdoch, and there's a few other people there. So if you guys want to figure something out, like bar the night before, tailgate, if you want to get a group of Jets fans to sit and watch the game together, I'm down. It's just something that I can't personally organize. Like I do not have the time to organize an event or something like that. And like the events are nice and stuff. It's a lot of work. I also have like, hey, I don't want to set up an event and then 6 people show up and it's like, I don't know. So Justin Jett said Rodgers is out for the season with a potentially life-threatening heel blister. Justin Jets, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. Yeah, wild this week. And I've really stayed off of social media. So for the most part, so if there's anything going on out there that I haven't heard about, any people talking shit about the Jets or whatever it is, drop it in the comments and I'll react to it. I just haven't been around a ton, but I obviously saw the blister stuff. It's just like, and I didn't really know what was happening at first. I didn't look at my phone for a few hours and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, is he really injured? And then you start looking into it a little bit. And it's like the dude had a blister from breaking in new cleats. And there are Dolphins fans out there who are like, oh, say it ain't so. Or Bills fans say it ain't so. It's I cannot wait to kick the living shit out of the Dolphins and Bills this year. That's what I hope the Jets do. I hope they sweep the whole division. Fuck them all. Dolphins fans, man. There's a graphic floating out recently. It's like they haven't won a playoff game in 23 years, 24 years, 25 years, whatever it is. And they talk shit like they've won Super Bowls. Like that's why I hate the Dolphins the most, is because like, yeah, the Pats, we hate them because they've been our big brother for 20 years. They've been kicking our shit in for 20 years. Like, yeah. We do the same thing realistically. Like we went on a 5-game winning streak or a 4-game winning streak that 2 seasons ago, and we were talking shit like we won Super Bowls. Can you imagine how much shit we talk if we won 7 Super Bowls or 6 Super Bowls? Sorry, 6? He won 6 with them and then 1 with Tampa, so he had 7. Brady, but 6 Super Bowls, we'd be talking plenty of shit. So I can't like blame Pats fans. Like realistically, I know we do the same thing. I'm being hypocritical there. Dolphins fans are the worst though. They are the worst. They really like legitimately act like they're like the class of the AFC East, and the Jets are just lucky to compete with them. Okay. All right. I am happy that we're getting them late in the season though, for sure. I'll be at that game, the last game of the season, even though the Jets will be resting their starters in that, but nonetheless. T-Guy Mark, who I haven't seen in here in a while, but hey, shellac Rodgers from the knees down. Zinser, call Zinser. They're in Jersey. I don't know what Zinser is. I don't know. Am I like out of touch? Am I too old at 31 to know what Zinser is? It took me a little bit for what was Riz. I didn't know what Riz was at first. I figured it out, but I didn't know what Diddy was at first. Like no Diddy, but I figured it out pretty quickly. That's hilarious. Hello, Joe. What's up, Christian? Big Bad JD's secret sauce. Talk about me. I'm his secret sauce. Where's the dog at? What's good, boys? What's up, John Hassel? We have a lot of hope this year. Great Will McDonald review, JB. He's going to become Something. He's gonna become. That's what we know. Rezi says, "What's up, Joe? Are you going to the London game this year?" I don't think so, Rezi. and I feel bad too because a couple of people reached out to me like, "Hey, are you going?" The guy who I usually travel with, I travel with him and his dad. His dad's basically like a second father to me, like an uncle at the minimum. He's not gonna be able to travel to London this year, so it's either we ditch him and go, and I feel like an asshole, or I just go a different time. So, Rezi, most likely I'm going to be going to London in a different year. I feel a little bit bad, but I'll go. I'll go to probably there and like Munich and a couple different places overseas. But this year is Jacksonville, so I don't think I'm making out to London, unfortunately. Eagle says, "Hey Joe, how you or hope you and the baby are doing well, but I do weigh in tomorrow with new pictures, but okay, yeah. So good luck with yours, Eagle. I've been getting back into the gym like crazy. Last like month I've been going. I don't think I've missed a day. I don't know. Epiphany. I have a kid. I have a pretty dangerous job, and I feel like me not being as strong as possible is pretty freaking stupid. Realistically, like that's kind of my thinking now. And I realized that 'cause I used to I take care of myself. I do. But I have never been like consistent 6-7 days a week. And that's what I've been recently. So, I'm excited. It's fun to do it. Good luck to you in your weight loss. I'm trying to gain weight, muscle weight, not lose weight, but yeah, you're killing it. Eagle. I saw some stuff on obviously on Twitter. I've talked to you a little bit on there. So keep killing it. Do you think the Jets cut Alan Lazard after preseason? I don't, because it's a sunk cost, right? Like it's $11 million, I believe, regardless, unless I'm mistaken, for Lazard. So I wish I can get rid of him. I really do. I wish I could trade him for a 7th round pick or give somebody a 7th round pick to just take his contract. I really do. He sucks. He didn't give effort last year. He sucked in Green Bay. Sorry. He sucked here. Lack of effort. Like, yeah, he was a 600-700 yard guy with Lazard, with Rodgers in Green Bay, which really makes him like a 300-400 yard guy on another team. He's like a 4th, 5th, 6th receiver at best. That's what he is. So yeah, I would still love to see the Jets bring in a Corey Davis or something like that. I know that people are kind of, and people cope. It's just natural, right? Like we were talking about before the draft. Hey, they need a safety. Hey, they need a interior offensive lineman, or even after the draft. Hey, they need a safety, interior offensive lineman, receiver. Those are the 3 positions that we really want to see the Jets, attack. And now it's started to be a thing where like people are coping a little bit, and it's like, oh, well, maybe they have a lot of faith in Xavier Newman. Oh, well, maybe they have a lot of faith in Xavier Gibson. Maybe a lot of faith in Brownlee. Like, sure, yeah, give them the offseason to figure that out. Like, if they're good in camp, okay, I get running with them into the regular season, the preseason. But if they're not balling out in practice, like, there's no reason to not bring in another receiver, in my opinion, especially if it's Corey Davis, because Corey Davis blows the doors off of Alan Lazard as a football player. Corey Davis off a year off of football blows the door off of Alan Lazard right now. Give me him on a slant route off the couch. Eat potato chips cold, year and a half cold or a year cold over Lazard. The guy's just trash. So I would still like to add a receiver. I don't think that they're in a great spot right there. Just because, like, yeah, let's not even assume it's Garrett Wilson who goes down. If it's Mike Williams, if Mike Williams isn't good right off the jump, it's like, hey, we admittedly Saleh and the team know that Malachi Corley is raw. So you have a raw guy, a rookie, and Garrett Wilson, Lazard, or Gibson. It's to me, it's not enough. I don't think it's an absolute need for the Jets. I do think it's more of a want, but why not fill the wants too, especially in a year like this? Like I'm very pro get a receiver, and I'm not just going to conform, or not conform or whatever, appeal to authority. No, the Jets no more. Like, to me, get a receiver. Lazard as your 3-4 right now is not enough, especially with Mike Williams, who's been a little bit banged up and who's coming off of an ACL. That's just my opinion. We have weapons in a QB. Yes, we do. Yes, we do, Greg. See, guy Mark, welcome to the prostate club. Take 500 milligrams of lycopene daily to resume delivery. I thought, I'm going to be transparent. I thought before I scrolled down, I saw 500 milligrams. I just assumed this was a weed message here. And I was like, damn, like that is ballsy. I don't know if you have good stuff where you're at, but 500 milligrams, that's a problem. That's the problem. I sent the first reply like 4 or 5 days ago. Okay, yeah, my bad. I'll go back and check. I don't know if it was anything. I feel like I read it and there was nothing really to necessarily respond to. But yeah, people let me know. Like, email me. BlewettJoe@Yahoo. That's my regular email, which I'm still on Yahoo. I might as well email me at AOL. But Yeah, I'm on there at Yahoo, and then Joe Blewett at jetsxfactor.com, Jets with an S, xfactor.com. And if you guys want to figure something out, like I'm down. If you guys have a spot, a pregame spot, a bar, something like that, hey, I'll throw out a feeler. And if people are like, yeah, I'm down, and I get enough people to do it, then awesome. If I throw a feeler out there and 3 people respond, then I'm just not going to. Happy birthday, Joe. I want to kiss you. Name it. Greg would have had like a couple of shots then or something. Greg's on one a little bit. Happy. Oh yeah. Okay. I highly doubt Lazard gets cut despite how much. Yeah. I keep Irv Charles over Lazard. It seems like Irv Charles is going to make the team just because he's like the natural Justin Hardy replacement. And based on what Salah said, they're expecting their kick return to get over 100 touches in a year, which is what 17 times 5. That's 85. So you're talking about like 6 returns a game, about 5.5, 6 returns a game. If my math right off the top of my head, you have obviously the one that is going to be, you get 1 kickoff a game at the minimum. And then you're telling me the Jets are going to score 5 times a game, which awesome. Give me 5 touchdowns there, 35-0. Field goals, whatever it may be. But yeah, 5 or 6 returns in a game is impactful. So there's going to be consideration for that on the roster, whether that be gunners, the guys who cover, the blockers, the returners. Obviously we saw the Jets, and this is another bit of news I haven't necessarily got into, but Tariq Cohen, they signed him. He hasn't played since 2020. I believe he tore his Achilles and his ACL like back to back. Training video on Instagram Live, and tore his right Achilles. He's coming back now. Transparently, have I ever seen a guy take 2, 3, 4 years off and come back and be good? Like, absolutely not. I've seen a guy maybe take a year off and be okay coming back. 4 years off, I'm not expecting anything. No. I do think he's in competition with kind of 2 guys. I could see him in competition with Gibson for kick return duties. And if he beats out Gibson, maybe it's Gibson who's gone. I think that's not the craziest thing in the world. I wouldn't bet on Gibson being gone, but what does he offer you if Cohen is a better returner than him? Okay, then he offers you what, like gadgety yak stuff, but you already have Corley, so you're gonna keep a second gadgety yak guy. Like I don't know. So I think I think Cohen's competing with both Gibson and then obviously Izzy too, right? You'd think like in this offense, Izzy could be the home run threat. Maybe get him on a screen, get him on a wide zone, get him on a play that you think is gonna hit. But with a guy like Cohen, who's explosive as well, maybe he replaces Izzy there at running back 4. Maybe he replaces Gibson as a returner. So it's interesting with that signing. If I had to bet right now, does a guy who hasn't played in 3 or 4 years make the team? Probably not. Probably not. Super chat from Jan says, "Hey Joe, hope all is well. Keep the reviews coming. They are great." Yeah, I appreciate that. I've 20 more coming, Jan. And like I said, Sherwood, Ashton Davis, and Ruckert have not been released yet. So you'll probably get Ruckert like tomorrow or the next day, talking about his season and what you should expect and how good or bad his season was. And then again, all the free agents, Carter, and then Jets players from Carter, Warren to Sauce, and really not much missing in between. So I appreciate that, Jan. Thank you for the super chat. Always helps me out. But yeah, the reviews will keep on pouring out. So let me keep going on here. So I think this is looking good on paper. Overview is overblown. Show me before I get excited. Yeah, for sure. Jin Pak. I'm kind of with you. I think there's more reason if you look at the roster and just break it down position by position. It is more this roster this year is better than it was last year. I think this roster is better than 2010. I think this roster is better than 2009. And I get we have a lot of nostalgia about those teams, but they snuck into the playoffs the one year by the Colts letting us win that game, which maybe they won regardless, or they would have won nonetheless. But they were they were 11-5 the one year and then 9-7 the one year. They were a good team. The problem was they didn't have a good quarterback. So yeah, that offensive line, you take it. You can argue about the defense. There's some arguments to be made, but the Rodgers versus Sanchez difference makes it not even compatible, in my opinion, or comparable, not compatible. To me, this roster blows that roster out of the water. You're just because of the quarterback. I think it's you probably have better skill group. You definitely have a better skill group now. You had a better offensive line then. You had a more diverse, not more diverse play calling on the defense. You had a better run stuffing group for sure. You did not have, you didn't have the pass rushers this team has. That team had Revis and Crow. This team has Sauce and Reed, so it gets comparable. But again, quarterback, give me this year. With that being said, I was pumped up last year, not as excited about the individual players on the roster as last year. Or no, yeah, I'm more excited this year than I was last year for the individual players on the roster, but I want to see it as well. I do. Show me week one. Show me not even if you lose week one, handle the next 4 games. There's no reason you should lose to Sam Darnold or Jared Stidham or Zach Wilson or JJ McCarthy or Will Levis or Drake May or Jacoby Brissett. Don't lose those games. If you're making the Super Bowl, you're going to win the division, you do not lose one of those games. Unequivocally, absolutely not. So I'll wait a little bit to get truly excited, but I'm freaking excited, Jim Pock. I'm excited. That first game is going to be awesome. Nerve-wracking. I don't like waiting until Monday night. I'd rather have played in Tennessee week 1 and then flew out to the Niners in week 2. But nonetheless, I'm excited. And that first Thursday night game, as long as they're 1-1, and really if they're 0-2, that stadium's going to be rocking. 0-2, it'll probably see a little bit of a dip, right? They lose to San Fran, then lose to Will Levis, Stonehands and Lizards. Yeah, I don't know. I might have made a cut up of him dropping just a bunch of passes. I might have done that. I don't know if I did. If I still had his entire review, I would. His hands were god awful. They were god awful in Green Bay. They're bad now. Why are we surprised? Now I would say he probably converted more on back shoulder balls and stuff like that in Green Bay when he was there, but Rodgers also elite with ball placement and stuff like that. So you're getting somebody who has elite placement. So it's going to help, it's going to help him out. Frankie Provolone. Only people talking about the blisters are Dolphins fans. Yeah. I've seen it be mostly Dolphins fans. I think I saw a couple Bills fans or whoever. Some of these accounts on Twitter are just ridiculous. The fact that I follow people who follow Dov Kleiman kind of upsets me. And every time I see it, I want to tag each one of those individual people and say how do you follow this guy? For the people that follow Dov Kleiman, for the people who follow NFL rumors or whatever it is, why are we engaging with these people and then quote tweeting them, making fun of them, oh dude, you're an idiot, dunking on them. It's you're giving them exactly what they want. So please unfollow those people, the Dov Kleimans, the stupid Nick Wrights of the world, and Greeny's a fucking idiot. Just stop following them. They're all going to die out eventually. It's just going to happen. It's taking a little bit longer than I wanted to, but assist. A yes, full AFC East sweep for the Jets. I love it. Please. Can't cut Lazard. His dead cap is more than a salary. Yeah, I don't think they're not really able to do it. They're not really able to do it in terms of the salary. But Saleh said it last year. He was, hey, basically Lazard is here for 2 years, without saying exactly that, but that's what he said. It's he's going to be here for 2 years. We'll see what happens after that. It's he signed a 4-year contract. Why only 2 years, Saleh? Maybe because he only has 2 years of guaranteed money. Yeah. Dolphins fans all know Tua is one bad hit away from involuntary retirement. F them. They just paid Waddle a lot of money too. He's making $27 million a year, which it's a hefty price. Garrett Wilson's going to cost the Jets $30 million next year. I hope you guys realize that. That's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's going to be really interesting to see how they try to keep him, Sauce, Michael Carter II, Reed, Conklin, Quincy in a year or two. What do they do at offensive line? Are they re-signing Morgan Moses? Are they re-signing Tyron Smith? There's a lot of work to do with the roster in years forward, but we're not gonna worry about it. How is the undrafted rookie from FAMU faring? I don't know where FAMU. I don't know. Jay Blizzy? I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is I thought of Florida. You're talking about the guy Leonard Taylor from Miami, from the U. From the U, I'm assuming that's what it is. I haven't heard anything about Leonard Taylor. I've heard more about Watts, the D end, and I've heard a little bit about McGregor. So it seems like he's not impressing so much. Leonard Taylor, that's what you're talking about. I haven't heard much about him, which isn't necessarily great. Daniel Murphy says, just popped in. What's up? What's up to Dan? Rich is in here. Good evening, gentlemen. What's up, Hawk? Okay, cut Lazard now and put a good player on the roster. Yeah, but let's look at Alan Lazard's contract. Let's see. Lazard contract. What can I save? I don't think they can save anything. And if not, it actually hurts them, like somebody else just said. So yeah, no. You save $6 million, you have $18 million dead. Like you're literally like you're taking another $6 million hit on your cap just to get rid of him. I am not cutting him to get hit with $6.5 million. I'm not paying him. It's not happening. It's not happening. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday. It's not my birthday. It was Joe Namath's birthday. How much 12 personnel do you see this year? My ideal plan would be to ground and pound and have Rodgers carve up the D once they start creeping up. This year is going to be a blast. How much? I don't know. I would say a little bit more than last year. I don't know what the number was last year. Probably like 15%, maybe 20. I don't think it could be much higher than that if I had to guess. I would think it'd go up a little bit just because I do agree with you in terms of like the sentiment of, I think the Jets are going to be a little more ground and pound than some people realize, or maybe not more than some people realize, but maybe I just emphasize it again. You have a dominant, like you have a healthy offensive line. It's some dominant run blockers. Morgan was a dominant run blocker. ABT, really good run blocker. Tibbin, hell of a run blocker. John Simpson, I would say I'd take him in the run. Well, I don't really remember specifically now, run or pass. I think he's better in the run game. I know he has nasty. Tyron Smith's good at everything. You have a 41-year-old quarterback. Why not take it a little bit easy, control the clock, let the defense, be rested. And when they come on the field, they're snarling at the mouth to frickin', they're foaming at the mouth. I mean, to come in and get a few plays, on the field because they were just sitting on the sideline for 8 minutes. I do think that there's going to be some games where Rodgers is, 18 for 22, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and he throws for 160 yards because they were running the ball down people's throats. I do think that's going to be a big thing. More emphasis on the run game, more emphasis on obviously power run game. And that is obviously going to incorporate more 12 personnel, right? So I wouldn't say like a hefty amount where you're really going to necessarily notice it, but I would like to see them do it more. I'm really interested to see what Ruckert does in that opportunity if he's afforded it. We've heard a little bit that Kenny Yeboah has been impressing at camp, which like awesome. That's great. Old Miss coming out, he was super raw. You can go back and watch that review. I'm pretty sure I said like he has all the tools to be a good player, but he needs a lot of work. And seemingly he's been working and he's been climbing up the depth chart a little bit. Maybe he beats out Ruckert. You never know. I would still obviously bet on Ruckert, but Ruckert's just very volatile. There's one play, he'll block a guy off the screen, and then there's the next play where that guy moves laterally because Ruckert tends to duck his head and be over his toes when he's coming into the blocks, and that guy will lay him, and then he's on his face. So his blocking is very, very volatile. Now, with that being said, he has good athleticism. We've seen him make some back shoulder catches. He has good body control. He's pretty quick. So Ruckert has the tools to be a solid tight end in the league. And you saw flashes of that, and you'll see that flashes of that in the review. Some of his route running, some of his speed, some of his ability to catch balls outside of his frame. But he wasn't really, again, afforded an opportunity to really run any be a part of any true route concepts where he was a primary read. A lot of it was check downs and chipping and hitches and just quick overs or outs or ins. It wasn't anything that was overly dynamic with his route running or that he was asked to do in the offense. So I'm really interested to see Ruckert and see what happens. Joe Cool, God bless and protect you on the job. I appreciate that, Greg. I'm actually, oh yeah, by the way, today is my last, it's not my last stream. I don't want to say it like that first, but it's my last stream on Friday nights at 6, at least unless my schedule rotates there. I am going to 4 to 12 and my shift starts Monday. So I work Monday through Friday, 4 to 12. So my stream is probably going to be Saturday next week, Saturday night at 6. The next week, it's probably going to be Sunday night at 6. And then we're you'll notice a trend if you're going to be a person who follows the show consistently, which I hope all of you are. And the people who are in here now, it's the dead point. You guys are the diehards. You are here all the time, I'm sure. It's to me a thing where it's 1 week, it's Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday. You'll progressively notice it climbing up the week just because that's how my schedule works out. But yeah, next Saturday or Sunday, I'll be on at 6. You'll just keep the bell notification on and check the stream just because, again, I'm going to be working Friday night at I'll be working next Friday night at 6. Again, I'm changing my schedule. Or my schedule changed. Does Izzy make the final roster with the Cohen signing? If you're telling me Izzy or Cohen who makes it, I'm taking Izzy. If you're asking me, does Izzy make the roster in general right now? Right now, I would say no. if I had to guess. And that's only because I think they will keep Bawden. I do think they want to keep 4 tight ends too. So like at that point, talking about 6 receivers, 4 tight ends, 10 offensive linemen. Like at a certain point, you can't keep everybody. And if I had to guess, Izzy's one of those guys who's gone because and that's just a feeling thing. I don't really necessarily have a reason. I don't think like a true reason for it. I just think they like Kuntz a little bit based on what Rodgers called him out. Yabo is clearly impressing. They're not going to get rid of Ruckert. So you have 4 guys there. You're going to have at least 9 or 10 offensive linemen, in my opinion. You're going to have at least 6 receivers, in my opinion. So can you with all those numbers, 3 quarterbacks as well, they have to carry on the active roster. Unless you're able to do some funky stuff with Jordan Travis's injury, then I get that. But if I had to bet right now, gun in my head, I would say no. But I'm pretty 50-50 on that. So Ryan says, besides being good at this YouTube thing, I'm really not, Bill. Like really, I got a green light behind me. I got a Roadcaster. Ryan helped me out with it, but I'm like nowhere close to like Ryan and like Jake Assman. I've been on his show and the amount of like different graphics and shit that they can pull up in 3 seconds. Like I don't do that stuff. But yeah, I'm a police officer. Show me the money. Yeah, the funny thing is I can't even hear it. So when I do these, I don't know if I know that they work, but I can't even hear it. But I appreciate you, Dan, sending the $5 super chat. Let's see. That one's always gonna be my favorite. Hello, darkness, I think this is one I'm gonna get rid of because it's just I think it's a little bit too long. It feels long. You blew it. That one.
What the hell is even that?
That one. So there you go. You get all the drops. You get all the drops for $5. I think I could even do more, but I gotta figure that out. All right, let's Lazard blow. These are funny. We have another bruiser running back named Allen. Yeah, Allen review's out there. Isaiah Davis's review is out there. I like them both. I do. They offer different things. They're definitely different players for sure. I think that you have a guy in Davis who is a little bit more consistent, rep to rep. But Allen's one of those guys again who's going to get you 1-1-1-10 or sorry 1-1-10 1-1-1-25. Like he's a boomer bust guy a little bit. He lost me when he quit on plays in the team. Oh, you're talking about Lazard. Lazard's a joke, dude. Like I'm sorry. And then last year, he's one of those like. I don't know. I don't want to talk about his character, but he just seems like one of those guys that kind of like tagged along with Rodgers and then was like trying to tag along with Cobb. Like, yeah, you guys got to do this or he's not going to. Like, I keep remembering that scene of him in Hard Knocks. Like, yeah, you guys are not going to get the ball if he doesn't trust you and all this stuff. I'm like, well, you like you're the one talking. How do you trust you? Like, you can't even catch a ball. So I don't know that. And then like he sucks. They should have never signed him for the money he got. So already right off the jump, I'm like, this guy sucks. I watch him drop 1,000 balls. Okay. He sucks even more. Then I watch him try to like be something. Maybe he's not in training camp. Okay. He sucks even more. Then drop passes in the regular season. Okay. He sucks even more. And then he quits on the team, like quits on routes. Okay. He sucks even more. So it's like 5-6 strikes against him this year. It's terrible. Christian says, Rodgers are winning comeback player of the year. Honestly, if he plays, wow. Okay. Well, this takes priority because I've seen this guy. King Cat with a balls on the table super chat for, I don't even know how many times he's done this, but it's at least like the 5th or 6th time, just dropping 100 spot on the chat. Go Jets, King Cat. That is awesome, man. There's really nothing I could say to show you the appreciation for that one. I don't know if you want me to get up and I'm not going to dance, but maybe if you want me to, I would, but I appreciate it. I do. That makes easily the 2 hours worth it. I think YouTube takes like, I don't know, 15-20%, but I just made now I'm making like $40 an hour just to do this. And Jan already threw in a super chat. Dan threw in a super chat. So King Cat, that is awesome, my man. I really appreciate you doing that. I know you're relatively new to the channel. I know you were here from like Jets Media and stuff like that. So thank you. Obviously, let's go back up the chat. Rodgers is winning comeback player of the year. I don't see how, like, if he's healthy all year, how does he not? Is there anybody who I'm not thinking about who's in like true contention? Like any other quarterbacks who went out last year who I can't think about? Because usually it's like, a lot of these awards are quarterback type awards. I can't think of anybody who was out last year, like a big receiver, big running back, big quarterback. No, I can't. So I think Rodgers wins it. And again, like I'm not expecting, and Nani and I went over it a couple of weeks ago when he was on the show. If you're really like stacking up the NFL quarterbacks, Rodgers, in my opinion, like I get he didn't play last year, but he's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe 10th worst the quarterback in the NFL at the absolute worst. Like to me, there's only a couple of guys who are taking over him. And like again, save the arguments for a different day, but like, I understand if somebody wants Herbert over him or Lamar Jackson or obviously Mahomes, Josh Allen. But past those names, like I can't really think of anybody who I would think of. Oh, well, here we go. Another $100 super chat from King Cat. Really appreciate you obviously doing that again. I'm gonna leave that one on there for a little while. Just ridiculous. I don't know if your wife knows you're doing this or not. I'll keep it on the down low. Don't worry, King Cat, I got you. But
you're crazy, man.
This kind of fits.
You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
That one's a little long too. I appreciate you, King Cat. That is absurd, man. That is absurd. Just dropping 100 spots. I wish I had the gumption or the salary. Maybe he just makes a lot of money and $100 is like $10. So he's like, fuck it, $10. Throw it to you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's see. Go down again. I was hitting on Lazard a little bit. Was I even hitting? King Cat, you fucked me up. I forget what I was talking about. I was hitting on something. Running backs, quitting on the team, Lazard. I think we were shitting on Lazard a little bit. We'll leave him alone. Nicholas says, if Corey Davis signs another team other than the Jets, he can go fuck himself. So aggressive. Nick, I get it, though. I get it, right? Because I'm at the point, too, where I look at Corey Davis. I'm like, that son of a bitch. Like, he left the Jet. Like, and again, listen. Let me preface this by saying he could be having family problems that we have no idea about. His wife could be having medical issues. His son or daughter, whatever. I think it's a daughter, maybe a son too. I'm pretty sure he has a daughter. She could be having medical issues. Like, you have no idea what's going on in his life. He could be having mental health issues where like, hey, I can't keep up with all this stuff while also providing for my family and feeling like I'm enough of a dad to my kids. Like, I understand that if he was gone all the time, he wants to see his kids grow up. So like, we don't know exactly what's happening. With that being said, if he comes back to the NFL and then he says no to the Jets and yes to another team, I'll be a little bit pissed. And there's a part of me that's like, fuck that guy. But I also want him to come back and sign with the Jets because he would easily be the Jets' 3 or 4 receiver. And at first, I would assume that he'd be the 3. Again, I know people want to be excited for the draft picks and all that stuff, but you're telling me right now, Corey Davis for a game, after ramping up all that stuff at Corey Davis for a game or Corley, like, again, I think everybody's going to say Corley, but realistically, like, Corey Davis is a guy who on being number 2 in Tennessee with just a decent quarterback, he was getting 700, 800, 900 yards a year, like 800-900 for like, what were his stats with the let's see, Corey Davis. I'm pretty sure his last year he was like 60 yards maybe from getting 1,000, and he got injured. So yeah, he had his rookie year was 375. Okay, fine. Second year 891. Year 3 601 yards. Seemed like he probably had an injury. 2020 Titans, he had 984. So you're talking about a guy who's averaging let's just say like 800 yards a year for those 3 years where he really, really not like popped off, but not being a rookie. 700-800 yards with the Jets. He got 500 and 500 basically. Like, give me that all day over Lazard. I'll take him. I would love to see what he could do with what's his name? Rodgers. If you cut Lazard now, you get an $18 million dead cap. If you cut him with a post June 1st designation, it's $12 million dead cap at 24. It's $12 million dead cap, 24 and $6 million dead. Yeah, it's not. We're not doing that, right? Like, he's not so bad where you don't want to pay. At that point, just keep him on on the inactive roster. Keep him on the 5 who don't. Is it 5 or 7 or whatever it is who don't make the who? I think you activate, was it 47 or 48 on game day, right? I forget if it's 48 or 47, maybe even 49. I forget, but keep him as one of those 3, 4, 5 guys who doesn't suit up. Like, just you have to be you have to lack self-awareness, and maybe like there's something to say, hey, that he doesn't care about what his image and I power to him. Okay, great. But for you to be dropping so many balls and just like sucking so bad, and then to be kicking a soccer ball consistently in practice and before games, like, that's going to piss fans off. Cohen was good at once. Yeah, he was for the Bears. He only played for 4 years, but there was a couple of years like he was getting like 500, 600, 700 receiving yards, right? Wild. Harvey says, "Hey, Rich." Rich says, "Sup, Harvey." Harvey says, man, anything Jets." Rich has facts, Harvey. Just if you guys wanted to know, there's a little conversation. We're getting into it. Jin Pak, I'll definitely be watching Jets games. Okay. Love this shit. Facts. I haven't seen Harvey in here much, but there's been some new people subscribing, which by the way, I appreciate. We have had the slowest burn and climb to 10,000. I'm not gonna lie, like out of a lot of people. I know Buffalo Jets fan passed me. I know Green Bean was like 1,000 behind me when he started, and he passed me. He's well over probably 10,000 now. Like I think I've been at like 8 or 9 for quite a while, and now it's like slowly going from like 9.35 to 3.6 to 3.7. So I appreciate it. I definitely want to get to 10K though before the season. Being in the 9K right now is really pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a slow burn. So for the people who are new and for the people who refer to me to other people, thank you. Thanks a lot. Sanchez deserves way more respect in my honest opinion, but then he ran full speed into Brandon Moore's. Like honestly, John, I watched Sanchez, 09, 010. I was 16, 17 years old. So like I was a big fan of the Jets, but I wasn't diehard watching the game 1,000 times, going on Twitter, doing film breakdowns. Like I wasn't like that. And even in high school, like I played football, but I wasn't the biggest football fan. I was more so playing football to like hang out with like my buddies and like, smoke some dope. Like that's what we did. I didn't really love the game until after. So I wasn't like so into it where I can speak like, where I could speak on it in terms of like film evaluation and stuff. But he had the number 1 defense, number 1 running game, really good offensive line, really good receivers. Like, how much more credit does he deserve? I'm not trying to shit on him, but he wasn't a good quarterback. I don't know. I think Blunted Vegas like always comes in here and just says I cut my own hair. Yeah, it's not me, Blunted Vegas. I have a widow's peak that I can't really control, and then I'm receding a little bit right here. So yeah, I'm sorry. You're very obsessed with the hair thing though. It's very fucking weird, Blunted Vegas. Guarantee you said not say that to my face. Guarantee it. But I think Blunted Vegas is literally always in here, and that's all he says. So fuck you, Blunted Vegas. 10 million hit, undrafted receiver. Undrafted receiver. You're talking about Gibson? Xavier Gibson? We're talking about a different one. I don't know Jay Blizzy. I haven't heard anything. I haven't. So our guy, Brandon Pockrass, I believe is his last name. He writes for Jets X Factor. He's been at the practice the last couple of days. I believe it was for season ticket holders only. And he was there doing some recaps. I didn't see anything about receivers, I don't think. I saw he's been talking about Stiggers a lot. And he's been saying that Stiggers has been impressing. Kenny Yeboah is a main takeaway of his the last couple of days that I've seen on Twitter. Other than that, there's really not so much that I've seen that's like standing out of UDFAs. I love 12 personnel. Do we still save 11 million next year if we cut Lazard this year? I'd rather free up the roster spot this year. Yeah, Mike V. I honestly suck with contracts. Like I do. So if I look at that and I'm going to try to tell you a bunch of stuff about the contract and I'm going to be completely wrong because I'll tell you a bunch of stuff and then Rivka will come in here in like 3 seconds and be like, no, this is wrong. So I don't want to do it. Maybe they take on more of they might take on more of the hit this year in terms of the cap, which for a team who only has $6-7 million this year, like remaining, they have $6-8 million, whatever it is. Do you want to take on an extra $6 million? Like then you don't have, you're hurting yourself. Like what happens if you have an injury, you need to sign somebody? What if you want to sign Corey Davis and McGovern? You're gonna take that money and potentially like maybe accelerate into this year to not be able to pay one of those guys in a do or die year. I don't think you want to accelerate any cap hits if that's how it works out, which that may be the cause of it. Ground and pound. AVT was injured early. Tippmann didn't start right away. Not a single starting offensive lineman played together in 23. This will hurt. Yeah, Tony. I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer. Are the Jets and this is part of the reason where I get people wanting to say like you want the Niners early because of whatever people's reasons are. Realistically, to me, the Jets are going to be a much better, assuming health or relative health. The Jets are going to be a lot better team in week 15 than they are in week 1. So I'd rather have the easier teams first and the harder teams later when the Jets are going to be like fully clicking. That's me. Now I get wanting to get out of the way, and then hey, your hardest game's off your schedule. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But I catch you when I can, Harvey. Oh, okay. Okay. What's up? Harold says, "What's up, Joe? Only got to see the YouTube portion of the McDonald review. Do you see more potential in him or JJ long term?" If you're talking about like absolute ceiling, I'm going to say it's McDonald, just because I think JJ is a little bit limited as a rusher. And this isn't saying like he can't be great, because there's guys who are limited, like Trey Hendrickson out there getting 14, 15 sacks a year. So it's possible to get like that many sacks this year or next year. I'll do a review on JJ. I already have it done. Blunted Vegas, I just talk shit about you. I'm pretty sure you do that by the way. So maybe we are friends, Blunted Vegas. So you might have talked shit later on in the chat that I didn't see, but I'm pretty sure you always just come in and shit on my hairline, which is fine. But if I don't know you, like I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken. But thank you, Blunted Vegas. We're friends again. Respect. Thanks for keeping us safe. But you always want to shit on the thing. McDonald I think has the higher ceiling, because McDonald, he has the athleticism. Like, and again, this is the absolute ceiling. I'm not saying this is going to happen. He has a ceiling to get to 20 sacks. Like, what can McDonald? Tell me what McDonald cannot do as an edge rusher in terms of bend, power, flexibility, length. He has it all. He has the higher ceiling to me, because most of the hay that these the DN's reputations are typically on. You're not going to find a guy like, hey, Jordan Jenkins. This guy's a great DN. He's a great run stopper. Like, no, you're going to talk about the pass rushing first, typically. And I think JJ will always be better in the run game than a guy like McDonald. But McDonald, I think, has a higher ceiling in terms of pass rushing. Like, he's absurd in terms of his bendy and flexibility. Again, I feel bad now for Officer Joe, for Blunted Vegas. I'm pretty sure it's Vegas. It's somebody. It's somebody who comes in and be like, dude, cut your hair. It's like, yeah, if I cut this, it just grows back. Like it doesn't do anything. And it looks stupid because I have a patch of hair here that's not as long as other hair. So like, I don't know what you want me to do here. Word up on Lazard. With Sauce locking down teams number one, do you expect to have a lot more five lineman NASCAR formations? I really want to see them release the Hounds. No, I'm trying to think, like, locking down the teams number one. Do you expect them to have five? Like, talk about like blitzing more. Do I think they'll blitz more? I think they'll be more versatile. I don't know if the numbers are going to be it's going to be anything like drastic in the overall numbers. I think they'll be, again, fourth year in the system. Well, fourth year in the system, I believe it is. For a decent amount of these guys. No, Salah came in 21, right? 21, 22, 23. So yeah, it's a fourth year in the system for Salah. So I expect them to be a little bit more diverse in their rushes and stuff like that. Do I see them at times having a rush package? I think Sabo actually put this out. I didn't see what the lineup was, but I know the players. But you're going to have some sets where it's Q as a 3-tech. You have JJ standing over a guard or the center, like isolated, one-on-one with them. Maybe not on the line, but like isolated, standing up one-on-one like they did to us with Parsons versus Connor McGovern when he destroyed him and they got a sack. And then you're going to have JJ and Will McDonald and Reddick on the edges. Like, you're going to see some of that, I think. But five, I don't know. Who's the fifth? Kinlaw? Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll be more versatile. Why did we sign Lazard? Because Lazard was Rodgers' boy. Realistically, that's the only reason they did. It's the only reason they did. King Cat, you're the king. Yeah, King Cat rocks. I'm with you. Blunt to Vegas says awesome. I still feel bad. I'm sorry I shit on you. I think I just told you to go F yourself. But it's okay. I can be a little bit reactionary. Yeah. What is? Oh, there you go. Yeah, dude. King Cat is he's a legend. He's done that a few times. Inching closer to getting the stylist. Yeah. The comeback player. I'm with Joe Davis big time. If you were listening, Corey or your agent, fans want you back. I want him back because he's he's a decent player. I think he got a bad rap with the Jets because he obviously was paid. Again, he was paid about $11, $12 million a year, maybe even $10 million a year. So it wasn't that much, but The problem was when he did have a few drops, and it was nothing like Lazard's drops. Lazard has 10 times worse hands than Davis. Davis does not have good hands. His hands are not dreadful. But the problem with Davis was we weren't producing, so everybody's mad. He's the number one. He had a drop or two. He undoubtedly had a drop or two you didn't want to see. With that being said, it was over exemplified because Zach Wilson got the ball down the field like once or twice because he sucked. And when Corey Davis dropped one of those 2 balls that actually got down the field cleanly, we like all went crazy. But in reality, oh Jesus, dude. Okay. Well, there we go. 300 from King Cat in this one stream, which is wild because I think he did something very similar a couple of streams ago, like 3 or 4 or 5 super chats. King Cat, killing it, dude. That is it means a lot. Was it Dan Murphy or somebody just said I'm trying to get a stylist. I'm trying to get a little stylist and a new computer so I could write on the screen. So you are undoubtedly helping me, and you're giving me backup, King Cat. That's the biggest thing. The computer, the stylist, all nice. The nice thing is when I go upstairs, my wife's like, "Oh, another 2 hours." Like, doing the baby, which like I'm kind of joking, but I can be like, "Yeah, but King Cat just threw down $300. It was worth my while, right?" So King Cat, you are the man, dude. That is awesome, like ridiculously awesome. Wow. Okay, go back up. Super Bowl, Queen Stadium, Las Vegas. I'm still sorry. There was somebody on Twitter. I can't remember his name. He something like Evan or something with an E, and he like asked me a question. I'm not gonna lie, I was just in a mood that day, and I went at him a little bit, and then I kind of realized that after I was like, dude, I was just way too harsh on that kid for like absolutely no reason. I kind of apologized, and then he followed me like, now we're cool, and like I'll tweet him every once in a while. So that happens sometimes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, King Cat. That's just stupid, dude. Ridiculous. I completely lost my train of thought again, which is I'll take it. I think we have an out with Lazard. If we cut him next year, we'd save 11. Yes, we do. Seen you on Jake's show, been a fan since. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's obviously like as a fellow content creator, like I'm gonna do. If he asks me to come on, like, hey man, of course I'll do you the favor. Like you need a spot, but with that being said, he's also doing me a favor. Like he has 30 something thousand subscribers. So you're undoubtedly going to go on. And if I can pull over just one Harvey a show, I pulled over one Harvey. Like I like that. I'll take one Harvey. We like Harvey here. Love it. Oh, Blunted. I'm sorry, dude. It's somebody else. I was not blessed from birth. Let's say that. I got a big ass head. I got skinny legs. My last name is Blewett. Like, I just understand my last name is Blewett. So like you sink or swim pretty quickly in life. I think I swam, especially when you have an older sister who's 4 years older than you. When you have a last name Blewett, you can imagine the jokes. So you got to figure your way out. And then I was blessed with just a god awful hairline as well. Unfortunately, the stupid widow speak. And now I'm starting to like recede a little bit. It's going back. I don't know. Once it goes, I'm going bald though. I'm not trying to save it. Well, actually, my wife is she works in dermatology, so I might be able to save it, but nonetheless, maybe I can save it. You took my hair wrong. I hate long hair. I keep mine. it's love. Yeah, I got you. I've already apologized a few times. But yeah, I have to keep it obviously tight. I'd rather lose week 1 than be overconfident in the Super Bowl because we won week 1. Okay. Either way, I don't know how much does it affect it. I don't know. Andrew says, Joe, in all honesty, what are we doing if we have an injury to a safety? Andrew, I'm with you, man. Like I think in a safety market that's extremely buyer friendly, they should do it. Like there are safeties out there. Let's see who's still available at safeties. Andrew, free agent safeties NFL because there's a few out there. And a lot of these guys who are going for contracts are like super, super buyer friendly. So if the Jets can take advantage and do it, I would be happy, man. Because right now, and again, I'm not trying to pop anybody or burst anybody's bubble here. I think a lot of people are maybe, I'm not going to put words in people's mouths, maybe overrating Ashton Davis a little bit. I did the breakdown of him. Like he had 3 picks, right? 1 pick was a gift by Mahomes. He dropped in a curl to flat, and Mahomes was just staring at him, just decided to chuck a ball up, threw it right to him. Another one was a Hail Mary attempt by Josh Allen at the end of the first half or whatever it was. Easy pick. Another pick was pretty easy. Cover 3. He was the middle third. and Bailey Zappi stared at a vertical route, and it took Ashton Davis to it, and he picked it off. Ashton Davis is a fine like backup and special teams player, and that's okay. Like you need those on the roster as well, right? Like I'm not saying everybody has to be Sauce Gardner. You need the depth guys, but that's what I think he is. That's all I think he is. As of right now, I think he's a depth guy, a good special teamer. Do I think if Chuck Clark goes down, Ashton Davis would be a suitable replacement? I do not. Now the water is a little bit like murky, just because Isaiah Oliver is apparently now moving from corner to safety, which weakens the cornerback depth, but you're assuming what it's going to be. Obviously, you have the top 3, and then you have Eccles as 4, and then Stiggers as 5. Okay, I guess that's fine. I can see a team carrying 5. But at safety now, you have JBC, you have Oliver kind of competing for that 4th spot, right? You're assuming obviously the top 3 are Ashton Davis, Clark, and Adams. So you have 2 guys battling it out for 1 spot. So unless they signed Oliver for like just to be a camp body or like just to see what he can do, I don't think they're going to add another guy. I think it's probably going to be Oliver as the 4th safety / 6th corner. Like I think that's his role. They're going to save a spot with Oliver, and he's going to again be that 6th safety, or sorry, the 4th safety, but also the 6th corner. And then JBC is probably on the practice squad, but it just, to me, it doesn't seem like they're going to sign a safety based on their offseason moves, and especially now moving Oliver there. But let me look at some of these contracts that have went out for safeties. I have it up on my screen. I just got to load something apparently. But like, let's see. This is the value. This is the annual value for some of these guys. Jeremy Chin. I know he had not as good of he didn't follow up his rookie year necessarily. $4 million for Jeremy Chin. Julian Blackman, solid, at least a decent safety, 26 years old, 3.7. Jordan Fuller, 3.2. There's some crazy names. Okay, I'm on the wrong website for free agents because it was giving me some names I'd never even seen before. Free agents tracker. Why the hell? What are you doing, Spot Track? Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Now I'm not going to be able to friggin' find it because I try to do this on the fly. Oh, actually, maybe I can. Okay. So guys who are still out there as of today. Justin Simmons, obviously pretty good. We have Quandre Diggs, another guy I would love to have. Gibson, Tashawn Gibson, I believe he had some running with Salah. You have Javon Curse, who's 30 years old, a box guy. You have John Johnson, who was a decent safety for a few years. Kevin Byard was a stud, and then he fell off with the Eagles, but still, like I would be willing to take Kevin Byard. Marcus May is out there. Like there are people out there. Terrell Edmonds, I would take. So it's not like it's littered with a bunch of names, but hey, you're telling me you can get Quandre Diggs for $3 million, do it. Like I'm completely fine with that. Joe is awesome. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I still feel bad for Blunted. I'm not a bad guy. I see the stuff with the hair. I'm like, it's literally something I cannot fix. I don't know what you want me to do here. Don't sleep on Tennessee. They have a great run defense, which will keep it close. Yes. Yeah, I know. But like at the end of the day, if we're going to be the team that we want to be, we beat Tennessee, right? Like they got some good receivers there. Sure, they have a fine trio. They have Will Levis at quarterback. They have a good run defense. Okay, who are their linebackers? Who is their safeties? Who is their corners? Because I can't even really tell you. Yeah, wow, we won King Cat. Yeah, dude, ridiculous. Build a king. Maybe I will. He's bought himself something. Like, oh yeah, King Cat. Like at least I don't know if you even like read Just X Factor, but at least like email me. And if you want to at least a free membership, like do that at the minimum. I gotta send you a jersey or something. Like you gotta let me do something for you. Yeah, it's still going on. I'm sorry. What was wrong with the Rodgers foot? Last I heard it was a blister. Yeah, Terry, that was it. It was a blister that people saw trainers around Rodgers with his non. It wasn't even the leg he tore the Achilles on. It was his left foot, right? He tore his right Achilles, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it wasn't even the right Achilles. It wasn't even the right foot. People are like, oh my God, he hurt himself again. And it still hurts that that injuries was because of Rod. It was because of Rodgers. Rodgers was wanting too much to happen on that play. Garrett Wilson was wide open. Where do the Jets rank in dead money? I'm sure it is pretty far down. I think it's like 50 million in dead or something like that. Unless I'm mistaken. Most deserving content. I appreciate that. We like talking our shit. Yeah, no, I know. Nothing wrong with the high and tight. I get it. It's the widow speak. I'm clearly insecure about the widow speak. Joe, did you figure out where you're heading up for the away game? Got my tickets. Yeah, stickers and boots. I guess you just jumped in here, but I'm going to Jacksonville. Murdog is asking me, like, am I doing anything? Because there's been a couple people from Florida who have like reached out because they heard I'm going. I'm so willing to go to anything. Like, if you guys have a bar to go to, a tailgate to go to, tell me. If there's another, like, you guys let me know. Like, I'm gonna leave it in your guys' hands. You guys email me again, Blewett Joe at Yahoo or Joe.Blewett at Jets with an S xfactor.com. And let me know, like, if there's enough people who'd be like, hey, like, I'm down to do a tailgate and go and sit all together. I'm down. Like, even if it's 10 people, I really don't care if it's 10 people. I just don't want to do it and there's like 3 of us, but if there's gonna be like 10, 15, 20 people, like, let's do it. Like, let's take over Jacksonville. I'm cool with that. I'll be there. I'll definitely be at a bar the night before, most likely. We usually like brewery hop. I don't know how many breweries are in Jacksonville. Probably not a lot, but we'll figure out something to do the night before. We'll tailgate together. Dude, I would love to sit with 20 Jets fans in this section. So I'm going to leave it to you guys. If there's enough people reaching out, let's do it. If not, then I'm not really going to pursue it. I'll put it out there, and it's on you guys. I know like Ryan has meetups and Jets Media has meetups and Jake has meetups. One, I don't know how well the turnouts would be. And 2, again, I just don't have the time. I don't have to set it up. The depth at safety is questionable, undoubtedly questionable. Realistically, you have Tony Adams, who you're assuming in his second full year of play is going to be better than he was last year. And I think he's an okay safety. I think he's decent. Chuck Clark, I love him, but he's coming off of an injury. Ashton Davis before last year was a guy a lot of us wanted to cut and didn't understand why he was still even on the roster. I think he played himself onto the roster this year. Do I think he played himself into being a primary backup safety? I don't think he's that yet, but where did Adams go? Alex? Nowhere. We're talking about backups. The fake Prez, you're talking about AD plays his role, enough said. AD. Ashton Davis? Yeah, no. He plays his role. That's fine. I'm just not saying, hey, if he has to play 60 reps a game, are you comfortable with that? I'm not. Jamal Adams. Yeah, Jamal Adams is still a free agent. It's surprising that such a high caliber safety is still. Well, I guess I could say that for Justin Simmons though too, right? So we can't talk too much shit, but Jamal Adams deserves exactly what's happening to him. Like, the guy's just a douche. He's just a shitty. Well, I don't want to say a shitty person. He could be a great person, like his family and stuff, but he was a shitty person to Jets fans. That's for sure. That was not fun. Already on top of that being like one of the worst years ever just because of Gase. Now your star player, who I was convinced was going to be a Jet for life and be in the Hall of Fame and be in the ring and be in the Ring of Honor for the Jets, was now asking to leave, begging to leave. It sucked. That was rough. Jamal Content, I think he's retired. Who's available? Davis is good for 2-3 games. I wouldn't want him for game in, game out. Yeah, no, exactly. And if you could sign a guy for even like, I'm not even like, hey, obviously Quandre Diggs might be on the higher end of those guys, but like even Tayshaun Gibson, would you take him over Isaiah Oliver? I would, I don't know. But with that being said, and kind of like Ria again, the first time I've ever seen this name in here, like he's kind of saying here, like it could be a thing where they're going to go into camp and they're going to see, okay, how do guys like Gibson, like Brownlee, like Irv Charles, like Ashton Davis, like JBC, like Isaiah Oliver, how do they play? And maybe if it's a thing where they suck, okay, they're gonna look elsewhere. There's still gonna be a guy or 2 in free agency, or you're gonna wait for the roster cutdowns and you can grab a guy. Like there's in no way am I saying that there's not other avenues. Like you don't have to sign a free agent right now. They could wait until July to sign a guy. The one non-negotiable for me, again, we can argue over receiver, we can argue over safety. That's fine. Like to me, again, in a Super Bowl or bust year, if you can shell out $4 or $5 million to solidify those positions, I'd do it. The one absolutely non-negotiable to me right now is interior offensive line. Unless somebody in camp, Brady Latham, Xavier Newman, whoever it is like balling out, or maybe even Max Mitchell added weight, and he's going to be a guard. Like, okay, fine. That's all possible. And I don't want the people coming into my comments like, oh, well, you don't know that those guys aren't. Okay, yes, I get that in an alternate universe or whatever, there's a possibility that Xavier Newman can be a great interior offensive lineman. I get it. With that being said, right now on May 31st, I do not know that, and I'm not confident in that. So give me McGovern, give me Herbig if he's cut, give me somebody. Having just Wes Schweitzer as your backup, to me, is not enough. So, Klecko is super nice. Yeah, keep throwing your chats in here. Once I reach the end of the chat, I'll probably just get click off. But we'll see. The next week we'll do call-ins again. It's going to be Saturday night. I apologize for bouncing around so much. But I really like it's in my schedule. There's nothing I can do. So it is what it is. I know people are like, they love set times, but Klecko was super nice at Hofstra when I felt like the only thing I felt bad for Klecko because like, I don't know if he always speaks the way he does. It seems like maybe, he's had some mental, or he's had some like CTE type stuff. And then like, I remember him walking on the field, like what game was that he made like a halftime speech, but he like tripped walking out and stuff. I kind of feel a little bit bad for him. I want him to just like chill out now and, enjoy life, but it seems like he's struggling a little bit, which is a little bit sad, but yeah, I was happy to see him go in. You can get a legit real Jets jersey with the money I can give you. I think I can get two. I think I can get two Jets jerseys, right? They're like 150 a pop. Yeah, I can get two Jets jerseys, but yeah. The real deal jerseys cost over 400. What did they? For like authentics? Like hand stitched? Because I know a lot of people got the Vapor jerseys for the Jets last year. I actually ordered the Vapor jersey for Rodgers. It was still processing or whatever, going to be shipped after the injury. So I canceled it. I'm like, do I really want an Aaron Rodgers jersey to show up at my door? When the Jets are 1-3 or whatever, I'm like, no, like absolutely not. So I canceled it. But I'm glad I did because a lot of people who apparently ordered the Vapor ones said that the quality sucked. What I heard was a lot of like the $130, $140 jerseys, whatever that jersey is exactly called, it was actually better than the Vapor jerseys. So you got a better jersey for $40 less. So I was happy I canceled it and I just got the regular jersey. So everyone who watched that clip knew it was a blister. It was super obvious. Again, like, and it just is what it is. And I'm not even trying to get like political here or anything like that. Like, we know why a lot of people hate Aaron Rodgers, right? Like it's not a secret that if he got stabbed with a certain needle, a lot of people would like him. Like there was a person on Twitter. I don't know who it was. Maybe I can go back and find him. But like the most, I think I talked about this on the last stream, but it was the old Ralph Vecchiano, maybe was his name. If it's not Ralph, I apologize. But I think it was. He's an old like SNY reporter. And he tweets out that like Harrison Butker and who talk about that different time, like whatever, that's his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. And Rodgers are competing for the worst guy in the NFL award when you have guys who are beating pregnant women. But because Rodgers doesn't agree with your political opinion and didn't get a jab that you got, now he's a terrible human being who's even worse than people who beat women who are pregnant. Like, do we not see like how this is fucking like this like thinking is like, and I am glad because I really do think people are on the mend with this crazy shit. But from like 2020 to 2023, like this country, dude, people are so like fucking crazy, man. Like I don't know. Like I know people who vote different than me. I know people who have different opinions than me. I'm still friends with them because I'm not an asshole. If you're right, you're an asshole. If you're left, you're an asshole. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Crazy. So all those people, I know what they are. You know who they're voting for. You know what they did. You know they're still driving their fucking windows up in their mask like an asshole. So go ahead, Ralph. Double mask, my guy. Who will be our sack leader this year? Predictions. I'm gonna go with Reddick, man. Reddick is a savage. He's a savage. He's good. I have a 50-something play review of him coming up. He's really good. And realistically, past that, like you're going to talk about Q. Q is probably going to float around like 10, 11, 12, I would imagine. You have JJ, who I think is probably going to be like 7, 8, 9. I think McDonald's probably going to be like 5, 6, 7 sacks, maybe. Some other guys will get like some sprinkled sacks. But yeah, I'm going to go with Reddick. Reddick at 15 sacks. Favorite home and away games. Andrew, can you clarify? Because I'm almost at the end of the chat. Can you, if you're still in here 8 minutes later, are you talking about this year, like my favorite games I'm going to, or my favorite ever home and away games I've ever been to? That's two much different questions. So clarify. This is the best Ranger fan, the first time I've ever seen you here. Tough break. I can't say I'm rooting for the Rangers because I'm a Devils fan, and like we are the little brothers, and a lot of Rangers fans are like, oh, who even cares about the Devils? So I'll just be honest, I cannot actively root for the Rangers. I actually actively root against them, just being it is what it is. I'm a Devils fan. I can't root for you guys. It'd be very disingenuous. But I want Game 7. I just want them to lose in Game 7 on like an overtime shot, but it's been a good series. Was with you guys was it you guys or the Stars? The Stars Edmonton Oiler game where the stick saved that puck? That was the Oilers Stars game, right? Yeah, it was. That was wild. I don't know if you saw that. Still going to Pittsburgh. Dan, I believe I am, but that's gonna be the third stadium I hit if I do hit one. I'm definitely hitting Jacksonville, and then we're still kind of up in the air whether it's gonna be Pittsburgh or New England. My thing with New England is it would be very nice to go there, and not guaranteed, but you're pretty much guaranteed a Jets ass whooping, or the Jets, kicking the shit out of the Patriots. Rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. Do I want to go to New England this year to see them get their asses kicked? I kind of do. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. New England versus Pittsburgh. I know my buddies want to go to New England, but we'll see what we're going to do. Those two stadiums versus each other. Maybe I go to both. I don't know. Mick Jagger wore jet green shirt the other day at MetLife. Mick Jagger? What's his like most famous song? I can't even think. Richard Todd versus Archie Manning at Shea. One of those years was referred to as the toilet bowl, wasn't it? I knew someone was at that game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that much history. I just can't see Justin Jefferson playing for Darnold. Any possibility we can get him? No. How? Now, obviously, if it's him or Garrett Wilson, like you take him because he's legitimately the best receiver in the NFL. But how do you make him fit with Garrett, with Sauce, with JJ? And like realistically, yes, he's a better player than Garrett. But there's something for like homegrown guys, and if the Jets were to jettison, it's kind of funny. But if they were to jettison Garrett Wilson for Justin Jefferson, like does that create some conflict in the locker room as well? I don't think it's a possibility. Now, yes, obviously we'd all love the best receiver in the NFL on the team, right? Like, so sure, if you can get him, go get him. If you can figure it out, do I think that's 99.9% not going to happen? Yeah, I do. I can't see it happening. 52 million dead. Okay. It was a different game in the 80s, a better game. John, I'm with you. Even in the early 2000s, and even like creeping into the 2010s, like it was the 2010 opener, right, where Ray Lewis absolutely mollywopped Dustin Keller over the middle. Like, bring me back to that stuff, dude. Bring me back to guys getting jacked up. Like, it's football. It's football. Jetted Out says $350. I have a Sauce Black Legacy. How are they? Jetted Out? Is it worth it? And at that point too, like, do you have to hang it up? Like, you can't wear that to a game, right? Unless you do. I wouldn't wear it. Like, I already have a rule where I don't wear white jerseys to games because I know I'm drinking plenty of beer and eating hot dogs and hamburgers and chicken wings. I'm not going to wear a white jersey, So, yeah, it's ridiculous. Who do you think is going to be the kick returner? This shit is about to be nuts. Teams are going to be able to return games right around. If I had to bet, it's Gibson or Corley. Give me Corley though, right? Like, I'm not saying Gibson's a bad yak guy, but can you guys remember any? And I'm legitimately asking this. Like, I'm not trying to be dick, but like legitimately, can you guys remember one play that Gibson made as a runner where you were like, wow, that's a really good play? Like, I know he had that one catch up the seam against the Texans. That's the only pass play I can think of where he was impressive. So he had that play versus the Texans, I believe. He had the kick return for a touchdown. He also had 4 or 5 fumbles. And then I believe when he got the ball and stuff, like, I wasn't overly impressed. So I think Corley is much better with the ball in his hands than Gibson. So give me Corley over Gibson. But I would say Corley 1, Gibson 2, if I had to bet. Sneakers and Boots says the Vapor jerseys are shot. I returned my Sauce Legacy last year. The Stitch jerseys are legit, but fans are completely priced out. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's whatever they are. So you have the $400 ones that are hand stitched and whatever. You have the Vapor, which are like almost $200, and then you have the next one down, which is like 130, and then you have another version down, which is like 80 or whatever, right, or something like that. I bought the $120-$30 ones. You know, I think they look fine. Happy birthday, Brees from Yeti. I'll tell Brees when I see him. The Rodgers hate it ridiculous. It is, dude. It's just it's a political thing, man. Like the guy, and if he was like legitimately allergic to it, like whatever. And I'm not even trying to get into it, but like I think it was a little bit different. Like I think we learned quite a few things different than what we originally believed. That's all I'll say. You know, like it's I think it's just crazy that people with different opinions like can't coexist. It's literally like, and people say like tribalism, like you're on the other side, you're evil because you think different than I do. Microaggressions. The people are so fucking soft. You cannot work my job if you're concerned about microaggressions. I think he's a little bit mean to me. Like, oh my God, dude, shut up. You got players abusing dogs, beating women, beating up pregnant people, skipping out on childcare. You got Cromartie who can't even remember his kids' names. You got guys crashing into people, killing them, but Rodgers didn't get a shot, so now he's the worst. It's like, what are we doing? Like, it's the dumbest shit in the world. It really, really is. So stupid. I don't even care. Like, oh my God. So he's like, I still wear my mask. Okay, goodbye. Okay, let's see. Rodgers is nothing compared to the real monsters. It's horrible. I fly a flag in the front of my house and I get shit. I don't know what that means. I'm not even trying to clarify because I'm not trying to get political here. It's just crazy how soft people are. Let's be safe out there. See you, Blunted. I apologize for our first interaction, but I don't remember. I always remember. Maybe it was you or Sluggo. Maybe it's still Sluggo. Maybe Sluggo is the secret S. I'm pretty sure Sluggo and I had beef. I haven't I haven't seen him yet today, so maybe he's planning his second attack. I'm pretty sure I used to beef with Sluggo, but maybe I'm wrong. Great show. Gotta go, Joe. I'll be with you next Saturday. Okay, I'll see you, Greg. McDonald is my most intriguing. Somebody asked me a question before. I missed something. O'Regan. Over under sacks for Will McDonald. If I had to put a number on Will McDonald sacks next year, it has to be a 0.5, right? Like you can't just do, because my initial reaction was 6. I would say 6, but then I feel like you have to go 5.5 or 6.5 because who does full numbers? 6.5. 6.5 is the over under. What are you taking? What are you guys taking? The over or the under? 6.5 sacks. 6 is my bet. Like if I had to bet, I guess I would take the under. I guess it's 6. It's hard though. I could see him really being pretty good this year. Sorry, non-division. Slap the like button. I agree. Slap it. Which I never ask for likes, but yes, I appreciate that, Harvey. You reminding people to slap the like. If Brissett starts New England games, might not be that much of a bloodbath. Yeah, I know Brissett has given us like problems in the past. John, like even last year with the Commanders, the year before with the Browns, like he carved us up every time he came on the field. With that being said, again, should they destroy him? Yes, they should. Who is he throwing to? Who are the receivers? Like I think we talked about this last week with Nani, and we named the top 3, but like I'm forgetting on the top of my head. I can't even name one. Juju? Is Juju still there? They signed somebody else. I completely forget. Okay, I agree. Brissett is. I would say it's so too. He's underrated. I can't get no satisfaction. Rolling Stones action. Yeah. But Jaggers from Rolling Stones. I'm not. I suck with history. I'm not gonna lie. I do. Like there's so many songs where like they'll come on and I'll sing the entire thing and I'm like, oh, like who's that band? I'm like, I don't know. I just know the song. Who's their lead singer? I don't know. I know like Angus Young, Chester from Linkin Park, who unfortunately, offed himself. And that's about it. Like I suck with guys in music. I like it. I'm like a hardcore shower jammer. Like I turn on the little like it's like a beat thing, whatever it is, like a little portable speaker, and I jam out in the shower. That's like my 10 minutes, 5 minutes to let loose a little bit. Singers of Boots says McDonald is my most intriguing player to watch. He's got a year under the radar to develop. His hands are gonna be insane, cross chopping, swiping, and spinning the crap out of DNs. People sleeping on him. Yeah, I would say people are sleeping on what he did as a rookie. Now he has so much talent on the defensive line and so many guys getting sacks that he didn't really stand out. Maybe as much as some people think he should have. But he was good. He was good. The review's out there, or it's actually, it just dropped. So go and watch it. Go and watch the 10, 15 minutes on YouTube, or go and watch the full 40-minute version if you're a subscriber to the website. I was impressed. McDonald will benefit from going against Tyron in practice too. Him and Morgan Moses, they're both good players. All of our offensive linemen and defensive linemen are going to benefit. Jetted out with the $2 super chat. That's it. My profile. I love it. Yeah, the only problem is how it's really, because if I were to grab my Sauce jersey, how much different does it really look? Just like that. It's hard to tell like that. But I'll trust you. I'll trust you that it was worth it. 7.5, John says, is the over under. You're saying under, Jen? Sneakers is taking over at 6.5, but I only bet on horses. Over 6.5 for McDonald's. It is tough. Yeah, 6.5. I think it's a pretty solid number. Only bet on horses. I never really bet on horses, John, but my wife had a work function last week. I only lost $10 or whatever. I just picked I didn't want to pick the horses with the worst odds, but I also didn't want to pick the horses with the best odds. So I picked the horses 3 through 6 who had the coolest name. That's kind of what I did. I don't really bet horses or anything like that, but I hit the like. Thank you, Jin Pak. Okay, let's see. Last one. Andrew's Yale. And by the way, Andrew, you didn't clarify yourself. Andrew, do you mean my top games this season? You said top home and away games. Do you mean this season, or do you mean that I've ever been to? Because I'll hit on that after too. Really quickly, if you can just clarify. But Quincy didn't make the top 10. Oh yeah, by the way, another list that came out before we even talk about this list. There was a list that came out with quarterbacks rankings. Drake May was over Aaron Rodgers. Drake May was over Aaron Rodgers. Can we stop clicking on these fucking websites, these ESPN and NFL Network and all this shit? I'm sorry, they're all trash. They all suck. We have so many good content creators. You do not need to click on that stuff. Yeah, freaking, I don't know, man. There's no point of even I wish I could find that list, Andrew. I do, because it was Drake May was over him, Caleb Williams was over him. There was rookie quarterbacks over Aaron Rodgers. In no world did the guy who wrote that, unless he's on, I don't want to offend anybody, unless he's hit his head up too many times, we'll say. There's no way that individual is taking Drake May over Rodgers. But what did he want? He wanted to piss off Jets fans or piss off certain fan bases and get an engagement for him. That's exactly what he did, because there's no way you're taking Rodgers or Drake May over Rodgers, Kyler Murray over Rodgers, Caleb Williams over Rodgers, Jaden Daniels over. It's what? Over Aaron Rodgers. Are we sure here? Okay. Jets Johnny says Vapor Elite's totally worth the money. Just got the Legacy Black Sauce. Yeah, Jets Johnny. Another Legacy, $400 though. Do you not wear it either though? Do you just hang it up? If I were to display it right here, maybe you do that, but I don't know. I usually go to the games in my jerseys. The white ones are for home. The white jerseys stay home. And then I either wear black or green. It's completely dependent on the team. If that other team wears black, I won't do it. I'll wear green. If that other team never wears black, I'll wear black. It kind of depends. But yeah, I got Sauce black, Garrett green, Rodgers white. But I've never bought an authentic jersey. I don't think I've ever seen one, honestly. Then this season, most excited home game. Can I just say the home opener? Really, I could say it's probably the Bills Monday Night Football. I'm not going to hit the Texans game, unfortunately. But that's a good game to go to. The Dolphins last week of the season is an awesome game, but the home opener, nothing beats the home opener to me. And especially the fact that hey, we're hopefully going to be coming back 2-0, but at the worst 1-1, and we want to just kick the living shit out of the Patriots, and it's going to be a night game. I'm most excited for the opener because I always am. Doesn't matter who we're really facing, but nice little cherry on top that it's a bad Patriots team. And then away game, I think I have to go with the one I'm going to, right? It has to be Jacksonville. I'll be there. Jacksonville, New England. Past that, London, like that's a cool game too. That's a cool game. I wish I could go there. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it off. If my buddy was going, I would do it, but I don't think I could ditch somebody like that. Jets Johnny says I wear it, but I'm crazy. I have the Legacy white Rodgers. That one's always stays hung up. Yeah. I got the white Rodgers, not the Legacy, but like I was on Jets Talk, and it was with Ryan, Greenbean, and Matt. And I saw that Greenbean dropped the wing on a white jersey. Like they had an outing, and he was wearing a white jersey to the outing and was eating wings in a white jersey. And like Greenbean's older than me. Like he's supposed to have like wisdom that I haven't been able to tap into yet. And apparently that's past him because he had wings in a white jersey. I'll question everything about him for the rest of my life. It's just, that's wild. So there's certain rules you have with jerseys, and eating wings in a white jersey is something you do not want to do unless you just don't care about that jersey anymore. So, hey Joe, old buddy, I was just talking about you, Sluggo. I was talking about you like 10 minutes ago. I'm still positive there's something between, there's some beef there. I'm still waiting to see what it was. Harvey says I have 0 jerseys. Unfortunately, I've never been to a game. Wow. Harvey, where are you at? Are you in, is there any context clues I can get? Singer hat. You're from the South. You have to be from like some like state, like some place that doesn't like Kentucky. You're like from like Kentucky because I don't play there or something like that. Like that's why I haven't. What the hell though, Harvey? We got to get you to a game. I'll get Harvey to a game. Plattsburgh, New York. How far? I'm not trying to be offensive here, Harvey. I don't know where Plattsburgh, New York is. I've never heard of it. But like, how far is it from Jersey? Like from MetLife? 6 hours? 5 hours? Well, I haven't been to a game yet. I was going to say, we'll fly you out. I'll start a fund. Every super chat goes to getting Harvey to a game. But you're in New York. You can drive. You can drive. You have to come, Harvey. They're awesome. Come to the home opener and do it. That's by Whiteface Mountain. What the fuck was that? Where's Whiteface Mountain? 6 hours, Lake Placid. Okay, I still don't know. I've never been to Lake Placid. 6 hours. You could drive, Harvey. Do it. Come up for the opener, Harvey. Beers on me. Beers on me. Jet Johnny says I'd eat my wings in my D Milner jersey. You know the thing about D? I keep shaking my screen. You know the thing about D Milner is like, obviously, as soon as you draft a guy, right, and you're the Jets and you've heard he's had so many different injuries, you're like, why the fuck are we drafting this guy? Like, we know our history with injuries and all this stuff. Like, why? And obviously, you can't really think like that. Like, oh, we're the, you can't draft Ohio State quarterbacks because of Justin Fields and whoever else. So you miss out on CJ Stroud. Like, I can't just say that we're the Jets. We should expect injuries or whatever. But with that being said, you have a guy who's often injured, who you're drafting after you get rid of Revis. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him. He comes in, wasn't great off the jump. He wasn't. But I remember, and maybe I'm misremembering, his last like month or two of the season in his rookie year were good. Like he won Rookie of the Month in December, I believe it was, and we played the Jags, maybe the Broncos, something, and another team or two, and he played like really well. So I actually think D Milner was just because of the injuries. Like he had the talent, and he flashed it at Bama, and he flashed it on the NFL field. But when you draft a guy with 1,000 injuries, like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, what did they ever think was going to happen with that, Jets, Johnny? I don't know. Just crazy. I appreciate you, Sluggo. Andrew says, have a great stream. Awesome as always. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Matt says, I'll never get another jersey because I'm cursed. Every time I've gotten a jersey, we'd lost a player the following offseason. Ooh, Matt, give me some examples of that. I'm curious to see. I would say my the most dumb jersey I've ever bought was Le'Veon Bell. And I knew Le'Veon Bell was going to be bad. At least I think I did. Maybe I'm misremembering and remembering my own opinions more favorably than I should. But you get a running back who is a year off of football, which is fine. Like, you could be fine. You can, and like, realistically, I think Bell was probably an average player in 2019 behind a shit offensive line, which made him look really, really bad. I still think he was probably average. But you bring in a guy whose hallmark is patience, and you put him behind an offensive line that's 32nd in the NFL, which gives you zero time to be patient. How is that going to work? Like, that was never going to work. And I bought the jersey like an asshole. Asshole purchase. I don't think I bought a Darnold. Maybe I did. Maybe I had a Black Darnold when that first came out. I don't even know. I would say Le'Veon Bell is probably my worst. Le'Veon Bell, Elijah Moore. That's a bad one too. So, trying to get my son to go with me. I'm disabled. I don't drive anymore. We'll pay for your Uber, Harvey. We will come together, Blewett Splits fanatics, and we will pay for your Uber. That's an expensive Uber, but someone will drive you down. Disabled, yeah. We'll get you down here, Harvey. A bus, a train. There's something. Now the problem is getting you into the stadium disabled. Maybe we can kind of like fly you in with a string, like was it Bret Hart? No, or was it like a Hitman Hart, or who was Bret Hart's brother who died, or wasn't even his brother? Not like that style. Similar style, but minus the death. Minus the death, Harvey. We'll get you in. Daniel says, "Hey Joe, just saw your review on Will McDonald. Do you think he's more developed as a pass rusher after year one?" Yes. Yeah. If you're telling me JJ versus Will McDonald as a pure pass rusher, and this might sound crazy, and maybe I'm misremembering JJ's season a little bit. JJ's season, he had about 6 or 7 sacks. I'm going to say at least 4 or 5 of those were more so effort or the pocket being pushed back, and then that quarterback stepping into a sack. If you're telling me right now, year 3, who's going to be the better pass rusher, and maybe it's not the start of the year, but accumulating to the end of the year, who's going to be better in 2024 as a pass rusher, it's Will McDonald over JJ. I would say I was more impressed with Will McDonald last year just as a pass rusher in limited snaps than I was with JJ's pass rushing. I think if Will McDonald has as many snaps as JJ did as a pass rusher, he has more, if not, or the same, if not more sacks. And maybe that's crazy, but I don't think so. I did reviews on both of them, and maybe I'm the outlier here, but Will McDonald just has bend and flexibility and explosion that JJ just does not possess. JJ's stronger, but he cannot bend like Will McDonald can. Will McDonald has some special traits. Worst jersey buy is Mo Wilkerson. The thing is, though, when did you buy it? Because Wilkerson was the dog, dude. He was really good. They drafted him in what? That was 2011. 12 was Copel's. 13 was the Odell year. So that was Pryor. So Pryor was 13, Copel's 12, 14 was Lee. 15. I could probably get all of them if I really tried to. But Wilkerson was drafted in 11, right? Because Kyle Wilson was 10. He was a good player for quite a few years. For 4 years, he was dominant. And then he broke his leg. They signed him, and he just did not care anymore. He just did not give effort. That was the definition of a guy just completely dogging it after he got paid. That was the biggest example that I've ever seen. So I don't think you're an idiot for that one. Reagan, but bad in terms of you bought it and then he stopped playing. Yeah, that probably sucks. John Hassel says, I'm surrounded by Bills fans. John Hassel, do you go to games? Could you drive, Harvey? Come on, John, step up. I'm surrounded by Bills fans, love wearing a green Jets jersey under my father's old Jets leather jacket. I'm lucky it's a neighborhood joint. I get away with it because I've known these people for 30 years. Yeah, but even if you need harass, I get getting a little bit harassed for wearing Jet stuff, but John, I need to see you at a game too with Harvey. You and Harvey need to pull up. If a Jet is in the Hall, I buy the jersey. My rule of thumb. Okay. How many Jets are in the Hall of Fame right now, Sluggo? I don't even know. I'm admittedly not good with Jets history. I should be better than I am. Young Stench says last Jets jersey I bought was none other than the Sanchez. That's rough. That's rough. I have a few. My mind is always, you're a 31-year-old man. There's no reason to wear jerseys of another dude on your back who's younger than you. It's kind of weird. That's how I think. But then we draft the guy. I'm like, oh my God, how quick can I get a jersey? I just can't help myself. Oh, Jets Johnny. Jets Johnny. This is the worst one. This is the worst one I've seen, Jets Johnny. Dalvin Cook is the worst one I've seen. You were not a listener. You're new, Jets Johnny. I can almost guarantee it. At least either you're new, either one of two things, and I'll guarantee it. You're new, or two, you couldn't give two shits less about my opinion. Because if you were here when we were talking about Cook, you would not have bought that jersey, I don't think. Because we shit on that from the jump. That was a bad move from the start. They should never have signed that guy, ever. Elijah Moore, I did the same thing. I loved him at Ole Miss. I did. his rookie year. He was good. I bought in, and I shouldn't have. You know, I think Elijah Moore has all the talent in the world. I think maybe he struggles with the mental stuff. You know, let's go. I can walk. Oh yeah, but can you walk up? Can you walk up like 4 flights of stairs, or can we Owen Hart you, minus the death? We'll figure it out. But yeah, Harvey, get to a game, dude. That's unexcusable. You cannot never go to a Jets game if you're in the area, or even in general. If you're a diehard Jets fan, get to a game. You tell me when you're coming, Harvey. We'll it's not like I don't do any big tailgates or anything like that, because like realistically, I like to just have beers with my buddies. But you stop by. You said you came here from Jake Asman's show, so I'm sure he'll have something like a tailgate or a meetup, or whatever. So go there or come to me, and I'll drink a few beers at you for sure. Matt Houston says got Kerry Rhodes right before he fell out with Rex. Had Brandon Marshall. I had Brandon Marshall too. I bought Brandon Marshall after that season because he broke records, and it was a good like. So Brandon Marshall, not necessarily like personality wise, but he was always one of my favorite receivers in the NFL just because of the physicality he played with. So I actually always liked him. So then once he came to the Jets, I was like, I was kind of teetering on buying. I was like, I won't buy it. But then he balled out. I'm like, I like him anyway. Why not have it? So I had Brandon Marshall. I had Decker. But I waited to get Revis right before we lost it. Yeah, that's an odd one. I'll start a fundraiser. Sure, go ahead. People don't like. I'm telling you, Harvey. Like I've been in other chats. I've seen things where Jets fans will raise money for people. Like if you legitimately want to start like or sort of GoFundMe to get to a game, the only problem is like, is it a train we're paying for? Like what are we paying for? Can you take a train? I don't know. Vernon Golston. Yeah, that's gross. You must be, maybe you're old. I don't know if you're older than me, Sneakers Boots. You seem like you're similar age. But Vernon Golston, I wasn't even really buying myself jerseys then. Jumping Jack Flash is a gas, not brakes.
What the hell is even that?
Oh yeah, and Chad Pennington back in the day. All right. I love McDonald. Right when he got the contract. Yeah, and then he sucked. JJ will break out this year. His run D is excellent. He just has to hone in those pass rushing skills. I think I would argue he broke out last year, Sluggo, because last year he was a very good run defender, and he got 7-8 sacks. Like that's a good year for JJ. I think JJ is going to be a guy who floats around 10 sacks a year and is a very good run defender. And that's a great D end. Do I ever think he's going to be a 20 sack guy? I don't. But that's fine. Like sign me up for 8, 9, 10 sacks and a really good edge defender. Like that's a slam dunk pick. You would take that in the top 5. Some teams would maybe some teams are shooting for higher. But if you told me like, hey, your 5th overall pick is going to get you 10 sacks a year to be a really good run defender, you'd sign up for that. John says, I gave my Revis to my brother and my Kurt Bet to my nephew when he got his first catch in a game. Oh, cool, John Hassel. Darren Lee, oh my God, yeah, dude, Darren Lee. He got pinned up against a wall by Leonard Williams at one time at a club wherever they were at. When after Jets fans did, yeah, he was another guy who's just not a good dude. Darren Lee. Jetronny, bro, I really thought he was gonna cook, but I've been watching you for maybe a year and a half now. Really? Okay. So the latter, you just didn't give a shit. You're like, fuck Joe. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to get Cook. Cook's going to be good. Cook, the biggest reason everybody said was, and this is like, you ever see those tweets where it's like, tell me how you know somebody doesn't know ball? And I never like answer to it because I'm whatever. But when people say, oh, he was a pro bowler, like that's your argument. Oh, he was a pro bowler. That's when I automatically know like, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or at least didn't watch. Because if you saw Dalvin Cook and how he played in 2023, and legitimately watch every rep, Johnny, you probably wouldn't have bought it. I think that you were most likely caught up by the hype. I'll speak for you, and we'll speak kindly. I think you were caught up by the hype. You saw the practice videos of people chanting his name. You saw the Pro Bowl. You looked up the stats. 1,000 yards. Then Jets Johnny, you typed in Dalvin Cook highlights on YouTube, and those highlights looked awesome in 2023. But then he actually watched, and he was balls in 2023. He just had awesome running situations. And I watched that. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, this is just, you're just begging for this to not work out. And then they signed him for $7 million. And I'm not trying to be like the bearer of bad news here, but now that $7 million we could have rolled into this year, because that's how that works. You could roll that money into next year. Guess what? JFM is getting paid right now, like $7.5 million. If we didn't, and there's a lot more to it, but if we never signed Cook, do we have JFM on the team right now? It's a possibility. He took $7 million for our cap, and we only saved like $7 million getting rid of JFM. So it was one of the worst moves or signings I've ever seen. You know, I have such a Jets or such a jersey graveyard. I could dress the people they send to the Super Bowl loser team to. I could dress up the people they send the Super Bowl loser team to. We're talking about like yeah, I think I'm trouble. I don't know. Who was your favorite QB in the Darnold draft at that time? Not now. It wasn't Rosen. It was Darnold and Baker. It was Darnold and Baker. And I think I'm not sure if I had Darnold one or Baker one. I'm not sure which one of those were one. I honestly think in that draft, Dan, I think that I thought Darnold was going one. So I never even looked. I don't know if I looked into Darnold before. And then I watched Rosen, Baker, and obviously Lamar and Josh Allen came from that draft. I don't think I really watched Allen or Lamar Jackson because I think I just watched Baker. I think it was Darnold. I think it might have been Darnold. Honestly, it might have been. It was either Darnold or Mayfield. And either way, I was wrong. You know. With that being said, I think I learned quite a bit from 2017. Right? Yeah, 2017. That was a while ago. Like I realistically, that year was like the first year or two I started really getting into stuff. So I probably knew nothing. Realistically, I probably didn't know shit. Greg says, I'm back. All Jets fans should have a throwback boozer jersey because we all have had reason to drink over there. Greg has had a few drinks today. Greg, what's the drink of choice? What do you got in there? Tequila? You got some whiskey? I'm a tequila guy myself, but I don't know. I really want to get a Corbett jersey. Definitely my fave. Hey, Harvey, if you sign up for the website, you do get an autographed Wayne Corbett picture. It's not a jersey, but it's something. My going to live games is over. With that said, out of a handful of live games I've attended, I've never seen Jets live. Really? You too? Wow. Jets have 17 Hall of Fame player inductees. Jumping Jack Flash is a famous Rolling Stones song. It's Gas Gas. Okay, I'm going to have to look it up, Marvin. I got you. I've never heard of that. I never heard it. Maybe I have, and I just don't recognize the lyrics, something like that. Big Tuna. Darren Lee was a friend of a friend. My friend told me he changed after he got the money, which you could see a lot happening to a lot of people. A lot of people, they get however many millions of dollars and they turn into a different guy. But undersized linebacker, raw. Like I didn't like that pick either. Young Stench Dalvin Cook was meant to suck last year. That whole shenanigan with the signing was a telltale goof up. And the funny thing is too, it's like he went to the Ravens and like he had one nice run. He had like 4 carries and one of them was for like 12 yards. So he averaged. So then his total run was like 4 carries for 12 yards because one of them was 12 yards. And Josina Anderson or whoever it was out there like, oh, I bet the Jets regret that. It's like, no, he averaged like 3 yards a carry in that game for the Ravens. And he's still not signed because he sucks. And he loafed it. Like there's times where he doesn't even trying at pass protection. Rosen and Jackson, woof. Rosen bad, Jackson good. Jackson slimmed down pretty heavily. Yeah, pretty heavily. Matt says I like JJ, but what is his actual win rate against tackles? I feel like most of the sacks last year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Matt. And again, I'll go through them all individually, or I'll go through them obviously in the review. But he had like 6 or 7, and I'm going to say at least half were like coverage or, like Q or Jefferson pushing the pocket and then them kind of running into a sack. That's just being honest. Where are you? You're in Canada too. We should lobby Woody for another Toronto game. Now, I think like a lot of these teams have like certain countries they're now responsible for. So I think the Jets are England, right? And then like other teams could be Germany, other teams could be Spain. So I think the Jets, if they are going to continue to play in different countries, it's typically going to be in Europe or in England. I believe. I could be wrong. I only drank on the Super Bowl day the last 3 years. Oh, okay. You're just excited on life. Coke? You have Coke, Greg? Maybe your cap stock is just stuck. I don't know. I like Baker the most. Yeah, I don't know if it was Baker or Donald. I don't remember. Jets Johnny says I really thought he could be an okay spellback for Brees, but I also thought Tim Boyle would be service. Oh, yeah, no, Johnny, don't do it. This ain't good. Tim Boyle will be good. Oh my God, dude. Didn't he have like a more interceptions and touchdowns even in college? And it wasn't even a big college. Like he's never been good. And then to me, when he walked in here, again, I feel like I'm making a lot of like character assumptions this episode, but it is what it is. Like he walked in here and I just remember seeing him get interviewed. I was like, I feel like that guy just like a smug asshole. I don't know why. Maybe I just hated his face because I knew he sucked. Like, I don't know what it was, but I hated Tim Boyle. With that being said, he did interview with the Cool Your Guts guys, obviously Nanya and Ben Blessington. And they said he was nice, but I don't buy it. Anybody could put on a face for 30 minutes. Chris says, I haven't seen a Jets TD, let alone win in person since Sam in Green Bay in 2018. I've been to 10 games since. You've been to 10 games and you haven't saw a touchdown. What? What games have you been to? Well, there's plenty where they don't score touchdowns. Like Jags that one year, Lions that one year, they didn't score a touchdown. Home game against the Chargers, they didn't score a touchdown. There's definitely games that don't score touchdowns. That is wild. I'm sure there's a Pats game or two. That is crazy. All the guys having never been to a game, and I'm 13-3 watching the Jets live. Kevin, is this the Kevin Jackson? I feel like Kevin, are you the Kevin? Like, you used to be like more prominent on like streams and Twitter and stuff. Did you kind of disappear, Kevin? Is this the right Kevin? Because I remember like there used to be like, hey, Kevin Jackson, and I don't know if you're the Kevin, but if you are, hello. And if you're not, also hello. But 13-3, we need to get you to some games, my friend, Kevin. We'll get you here with Harvey. Who else is coming up? John Hassel, right? I think John Hassel. Mr. Bonesy. What's up, man? I haven't seen you in a little bit. Joe B, I'm better late than never. I'll rewatch the whole thing later on. Yeah, Mr. Bonesy, I didn't know if you were watching still. I haven't seen you in the chat. Obviously the Discord is not a thing anymore because we don't, the fantasy football thing died. But yeah, man. Bonesy, I miss you. I miss you, Bonesy. I miss you. Greg says no drugs, no weed, just cigs. I like cigars. All right. Again, just high on life. I love it. High on life from Greg. Tim Boyle got to catch a Nepo baby. See, like maybe I'm 31 or I just don't know the vernacular, but I don't know what a Nepo baby is. Nepo? I gotta look it up. It's gonna be something fucked up, isn't it? Nepo baby. Nepotism baby. Oh, okay. Okay, nepotism baby. All right. Yep. That's fine. That works. I thought I was gonna look it up and be something much worse. It's fine. At work. I don't know. Let's say in a situation I maybe shouldn't have, I dropped the shower jellyfish line, and I quickly realized that I should not have said that in front of who I said it in front of. And then that person was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Oh, fuck. Please don't Google it." So, John says, "Really, I'd sign up for Jets X Factor for a year if Wayne could sign a personal birthday wish for my nephew. Let Robbie know if that's a possible." Let me take a picture of this, John. I'll see what I can do. No guarantees, because realistically, I might take a picture of this and then forget. But I'll at this very moment, I mean that I'll actually send it to him. Okay. Matt says, "I guess we're not nominating Jets Johnny for the talent." No, Jets Johnny, we like you. I don't know if you've been in here before. Might be your first time. I think it's my first. No, actually, it's not true. I've seen you in here before. Yeah, Cook and Tim Boyle. Did you like Uzama? You might have liked Uzama. Jets Johnny. That was Johnny's boy, apparently. CJ Uzama, Johnny's boy. Jordan Whitehead, Johnny's boy. Laken Tomlinson. Fun fact, also Johnny's boy. Joe Flacco, Miami game. 9-6 loss. Dude. Some of the amount of bad games I've been, I'm trying to think of like actual examples, but my mind is getting flooded with so many bad Jets games. I've been to almost every Jets game the last 12 years. Well, okay, I missed a few. Like, there's a few years where I was missing a few games, but realistically, how many games did they? Obviously, 8 games times 10. Okay, 80 games, something like that number. 80 games. I've probably been to 60 at the minimum, at least 75% of the games. And I've seen little to no wins. It's been so bad. It really, really has. I felt so alone as a Jets fan up north here till I found Jake, you, O'Leary, Paul, Boy Green. It's so awesome to see all. Yeah, Harvey, man. We got a great collection of content creators, and legitimately, Harvey, if it's something where you need funds to get here, let me know. I'll start the Harvey, and maybe it'd be better off with Jake, because Jake will get $1,000 in a show, I'm sure. Maybe he can get it for you in a second. So maybe I'm not the right representative for you, John or Johnny, Harvey. But hey, if you're dude, I need $200 to get up there, I'll start a fund. We're good. Bonesy, Calvin, what's up? I like cigars too with weed inside. Ari, that's great. I'm not so big into the puff anymore, but the edible game has really picked up in recent years. Really picked up in recent years. I'm down with that. And again, that's something that we're like, in 10 years, people are going to think no differently from weed to alcohol. Again, I've been to so many calls based on alcohol. I've been on a few calls where like somebody's taking too much edibles. I'm like, dude, you just got to breathe. Like everything's going to be okay. But I don't go to a lot of violent calls or people dying because of weed. I go to a lot of shit, people dying or getting in fights because of alcohol. You know, it's like, no, in 10 years, nobody's going to look at it differently. But yeah, edibles all the way. Which, by the way, a little bit insider, like I took an edible. I went watching that show, Baby Reindeer. Bro, have you guys watched that Baby Reindeer show? Fucked up. Yeah, okay, Kevin Jackson, what's up, dude? Spotty Blackman. You used to do like a podcast, right? You used to do podcasts with somebody. You used to be like on Twitter all the time, and I kind of haven't seen you anymore. But what's up, Spotty? I didn't like Usama. No, I don't know. I've heard rumors that Jet Shawnee loved him. Let's see. The first time that Zach played the Pats with 4 interceptions is definitely up there. That was a bad one. Yeah, that was rough because that was the game, Snickers the Boots, where you had. I don't remember the exact situation in the game, but I remember the exact situation. But it was like Jets obviously punt on their first drive because what else do the Jets do? They punt. The Pats get the ball back, and I don't know if it was like a slant or maybe just like a short run, whatever it was. Marcus May clearly, is it Marcus May, right? I think clearly strips the ball carrier before the whistle was out, or he strips it and the whistle comes after, whatever it was. It was clear as day that it was a fumble, but because the whistle was blown, Jets couldn't recover it. And then they ended up losing that game. You also have the game 2 years ago I was at with Kyle Smith, and as soon as that pick six was not like an actual thing because JFM late hit, we're like, oh my God, dude, like here it comes. And then it came. There's been some bad games, man. Going to Arizona and watching the Jets get blown out. I got hit with a glizzy from like 30 rows up. They were down like 27 to like 3, and I like took off my Jets jersey. I wasn't even cheering anymore. I got hit with a hot dog. Buffalo wasn't so bad. I've been to some bad games, man. The butt fumble, I was there live. Luckily, I was 19 years old and I blacked out that game, so I didn't remember anything. I remember like one Sean Green run up the middle. I didn't know that the butt fumble happened until the next day on ESPN, and I was at the game. But when I was like 17 to probably 30, I'm 31 now, I was pretty crazy. Realistically, it's like 17 to like 24, 25. I was really getting after those games. I probably should have chilled a little bit, but yeah, I've been to some bad games, some really, really bad games. Too bad we don't play Tampa Bay. Would love to watch Corley make Whitehead look like a child. He'll get his chance. Bonesy's been throwing football through a tire in his backyard, getting ready for the big game. I'm not going to say I'm aware of what's happening, but good luck, Bonesy. I don't know if you're in like a league, like an intramural league or a flag football or something, but good luck. Or unless it's something with Jake. I'm sure it's with Jake Show, right? They had that whole Knoble thing that I was brought into, but maybe it's a Jake thing. Brandon says Jets were good when I was in college in Madison, New Jersey in late 2000s. Had a great time, but feel like I have been paying for it ever since. We all have, Brandon. It's been miserable, but we're in it together. And the people who are here now, like May 31st, there's nothing going on. I appreciate you guys. And I thought I was gonna get off an hour ago, but we started talking about some random shit, and now you guys are killing in the chat. So we're gonna keep going. I live, for another couple minutes before it's 8:00. But I live in Seattle. The last Jets game I went to. They play Seattle in New Jersey. That sucks. Did they play any games? How far is San Fran from you? Or even, I don't know if you want to even go to San Fran right now. It's a shithole. But how far is that from you? Or the Jets know they play LA in. So I guess the closest game would be that, right? Yeah, I don't think they play another game out that way. So, but Jets got crushed 23 to oh, dude. Yeah, that was the game where, and this was another thing, and this is why Salah to me, like a question mark on his, his what he's done so far has been a question mark. His team's lack of performance in big games and lack of showing up in big games is a concern for me. or at least was, we'll see this year when the team's actually better. But like that game, we still had a chance at the playoffs, blew it. Jaguars game a couple weeks before that came out completely flat, blew it. I think the week before that was the Lions game, or was the week after? I think it was the week before this game. Came out flat, almost won it, and then obviously we blew a coverage and blew it again. Dolphins game, Black Friday, blew it. Like we've come out quite a few games and just been flatlined in the first half, and it needs to change this year because you can't come out slow versus the Niners or the Bills or the Dolphins if you're trying to win the division, or obviously in the playoffs. You can't come out slow versus Kansas City. It's not going to happen. JB, what's up, Dano? What's going on? Fucking JFM. Remember more for his big penalties instead of big plays. The thing was, like, JFM was hosed a couple times though, Bonesy, right? Like the Dallas game, they apologized to him. I think that play versus New England was kind of bullshit. Like he's been hosed a couple times to the late hits, really. But there's been quite a few. He had an Atlanta one, right? He had one versus Cincy like 2 years ago. The Q blow up game on White Cotton on the sideline. I think JFM had a late hit in that one. So he had quite a few penalties. That's for sure. Booze is rough. I don't drink anymore. I'm on disability, but it pays for the bills. Don't worry about it. I'll try. Yeah. You let me know. You let me know, Harvey. You let me know if you're just stopping by the tailgate. You're going to Jake's. You're gonna just come by and rip a shot. Whatever you want to do, Harvey. I want to rip a shot with Harvey. That's what I want. Bonesy been named to Jake Asman's All-22 team as starting quarterback. Oh, there's another one of those. I was on Matt O'Leary made a list of content creators for offense and defense, and I think special teams too, maybe coaches. It was me and Gunny as the linebackers. It's like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take linebacker, right? Like I feel like if you're just like a guard or something like that, like probably not saying the best of value, but a linebacker, all right. I guess props O'Leary. I think I guess that kind of makes me think that you think at least a little bit highly of me. So thank you, Matt. If you're probably not listening, but nonetheless, put it out there in the ether. San Fran is a shithole, but yeah, I'm thinking about going. Well, hey, at least if you go, you can just walk into 7-Elevens and stock up on milk and bread and shit and then just drive back, right? You just steal shit in San Fran as long as it's not over $900, you can't get arrested or cops won't come after you. Like, go stock up a little bit too. Why not? They play in Arizona, but that's actually probably, definitely. It's a lot more south. It's a lot more south, Joey. I was walking to Buffalo versus New York Jets. I was 10 minutes late, and Geno already threw 2 interceptions and finished with 4. Oh, dude. You just have to believe me on this one because I'll never say what I did because I'm actually legitimately ashamed of myself. Like no matter what anybody said, I would never say what I did that game. I was not thrilled at that game with Geno, and I got belligerent. And that was the first game I actually almost got kicked out of, and I was ashamed of myself. That game, that was legitimately my worst experience ever in terms of me being a legitimate, true asshole. That game, I lost it, Bonesy, like really, really, really lost it. And I saw all 4 of them. Like, you got to be kidding me. Bonesy is starting quarterback in an Asmaniac roster made by Boomtown. Dane cornerback, me, Corley wide receiver, Hawk offense outside linebacker. Okay. You're Corley type receiver. All right. I'll write a song about it. That's what I'll do now. I'm an artist. Oh, cool. Cool, Harvey. Get after it. Puff, puff, don't pass. Just take extra puff, puffs, and I'll write a song. I'm sure it'll help your creative process. Still have nightmares about the Michael Carter pick 6. Yeah, dude. Me and Kyle just looked at each other like, uh-oh. We know how this goes. This is not good. Like, here we go. And it started. First game I went to, Jets beat the Fins 52-47. O'Brien. Wow, dude. Greg's had some history. Rough game. If you're going to San Francisco and you're heterosexual, just take some stuff at least. Aspen Chad doesn't really know me yet for the 22. So I decided to get back into college for my senior season next year's. Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah. That's fun. It's fun to do like little like stupid interactive things, especially this time of the season. I appreciate you guys. It's 8:01. Thank you for everybody for being in here and chatting again. I was going to jump off like 45 minutes ago, but you guys kept lighting the chat up. So I definitely appreciate it. Check out the reviews that are coming out. It was again, McDonald came out, Stiggers came out, Jalen Key came out, Carter Warren, all these guys, Will McDonald, Sauce, Garrett Wilson, all those guys are coming. So subscribe, follow me on Twitter, JoeRB31. I'll put out some like clips and stuff like that. Past that, I'll see you guys next Saturday. Next Saturday at 6 p.m. Thanks, guys.